Good evening. Welcome to those who are here in the room. Thank you for joining. Thank you for subbing. Thank you for your support. Give it a few more minutes before I get started. I'm here and wait a little bit longer, wait a few more minutes, and then I'll get started. In the meantime, I hope all is well. Hope and pray that all is well with everyone. Hope that you're having a good day. You know, like as you get older, some days you just forget what day it is. All the days run in together. So, you know, how when you're younger you can feel um what days it is. Hold on. You can feel what days, if it's the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, the weekend. Sometimes that age thing, you don't feel shit. It's just all the days running in together. Thank God for the calendars and phones, and you can just look at it and it's Tuesday. Doesn't feel like Tuesday, but it's Tuesday, right? Especially now, school has started back, and even if you don't have children that are school age, or you don't have children at all, it just is a change in the atmosphere that you feel when they're off to school. It doesn't feel as free as it does when they're not in school. Even if you don't see a lot of children out, kids are not quite out as much as they used to be. And that depends too on the area that you live in. I mean, like when I lived in the hood, any hood that I lived in, you always saw kids out playing, but suburbs, you ride through the suburbs, you don't see too many out playing. Maybe they're at the community centers or whatever, but it was just different. But anyway, it's just you could just feel it in the air, the difference in the way the world is operating. And it's not so much about, well, of course you see the school buses, but it's not so much about traffic and the kid, and more traffic with parents taking their children to school and watching the children at the bus stop. Of course you see all that, but it just feels like a more of it doesn't feel as free in the air. It just feels, well, to me, this is how what I feel. It feels like a lockdown, happening, you know. So I always I like the freedom, you know, that you feel more in the summertime than you do, like, well, it's still summer, like calendar wise, but It is the end of August, you know. And some kids start going to school in the beginning of August or the middle of August. But definitely by the end of August, they're, you know, going to school. And it's been a bit chilly here too. It feels like fall. It feels like go on Nat, go on, motherfucker. It feels like, you know, fall weather here. So, but anyway, you know, it was a time where uh people could share their intimacies with one another, their sexual intimacies with one another, and just not have to worry about anything. You know what I'm saying? You know, there were no cell phones, no uh, whatever, all of this machinery here, this equipment here. You know, the texting your body parts to your mate, you know, to your spouse, to whomever it is that you are engaged with sexually at that time, you know. But now there are. And people make videos of their sexual time together, which that is their absolute right. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not diminishing that. But now, with AI, you know, people can get in there when they're trying to destroy you and trying to diminish you and whatnot, and create these fake ass videos of you doing something that you did not do. They with the AI, they can get to watching videos like they're watching mine, um, and create this fake shit to further their narrative of trying to destroy you. Now, I one morning was heard in my head when I woke up. I think this was last week. WAP with Cardi B and what's her name? What's the lady's name? The other rapper. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. So I played it. I really like that song. I love the beat. I love the beat. It's so hard. It goes so hard. I love the beginning where the guy said, "There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house." I love that shit, you know. And sexual, those kind of songs and whatnot, there is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Um, I posted up, what was it? Millie Jackson. You know, Millie Jackson was real racy, controversial way back in the day. Okay. Um, you can go back so much further than that. There was a video that I saw here on YouTube of a woman. This was like, I mean, the video that they had posted of her singing this song. Was did they have a video of her posted singing the song or just the song? I mean, it was the old record that, you know, where you had to, where they would crank it up and play it. It was that old. Oh man, and she was talking dirty, very explicit. I mean, I feel like even for this time period, it was very explicit. Okay. Sex is and I said coming up because I was going to do a video on that, and I still plan on it. Sex is just like a part of the human experience, you know. Uh, some people don't have sex. Some people don't want to, you know. Some people are celibate. Some whatever. But it's normal and it's natural, and it is 1,000% okay if two adults, consenting adults, video record themselves, uh, you know, enjoying one another's company in that way. So I said, it's funny. I said, I'm listening to something. They were talking about how these people want to try to entrap you and ensnare you with making up some fucking video of you uh, having sex with someone and post it on the internet. I'm like, well, ain't that how Kim Kardashian got famous? Ain't it? Don't tell me if I'm wrong, but wasn't she Brandy's personal assistant? And, she was her personal assistant. She probably knew a lot of celebrities, but then she made a video with her brother, Ray J, and it got out. And then next thing you know, here she is, just as famous as she want to be. And some of the same people who want to do that to you, to try to hurt you and destroy you and humiliate you and lie on you and all that kind of stuff, worship. She's one of the ones that they worship, that they want to look like. I was like, that's funny. So they want to get your videos and find what they can on you. Do some AI bullshit with your voice and all of that type of shit, or string some bullshit together. Find somebody to pay them to do the dumb shit, to quote unquote embarrass and humiliate you. And say, see, they are prostitute, they're a whore. It doesn't mean that. Well, maybe somebody don't like what I'm saying. Oh my goodness. Doesn't mean that person's a prostitute or a whore because you got a video of them having sex with somebody. It means that you got a video of them having sex with someone. That's what that means. Which, my God, the majority, I would think, of the human population at some point has had some kind of sexual encounter with someone at some point. That's called normal. But also, if somebody was trying to do that to somebody just to make them look bad and try to humiliate them and all that type of dumb shit, how the fuck did you get the motherfucking video? How did you get it? If it's a video, if two people got together, and I don't care, male, female, male, whatever the fuck, and they said we're gonna record this, or one of them decided it was gonna record it, well, they shouldn't do it without the other person's consent, but whatever. And it's in one person's hands, and it's not in your hands, who the person wants to humiliate, and maybe they have a recording of it as well. And you decide that you're going to put that together and put it on the internet to say, see, they's a prostitute. Well, just because they're having sex doesn't mean they're a prostitute. Did you see them get paid for their work? Is that in the video? And there is a such thing called sex workers, which not that long ago, people was just all gung-ho about sex workers. They got rights too. They should be able to have, positive or good health, whatever too. That was the in thing at the time. I guess that's not in style no more. Whatever. It's like, people that's just another dumb Christian thing to put someone down or try to act like they ain't shit because they have sex. Because they have sex. And if a good majority of people on the earth have had some kind of sexual encounter with someone at some point, I'm talking about adults, they done seen it all. They done seen titties, they done seen vaginas, they done seen booties, they done seen penises, they've seen it. Hell, you can go right to the store up the street. Some of the hair stores have them, and get you some pornos. That's what am I talking about? You just Google X or XXX or whatever the sites are. I know about those two. I know there are more. I mean, it is a I said this before, a multi-billion-dollar fucking industry, the sex industry. Why? Because it is a human, part of the reason is because it is a human, it's what humans do. For some, it's a need. It offers, you know, human fulfillment in that area. I'll put it that way. That's called normal. I mean, it's just the funniest shit to me. The things people do the same typical shit all the time. How they gonna slander somebody, make them look bad? That's just dumb. And if in the video that you supposedly have, the woman or the man or whoever that you're trying to slander and put down, you do see them getting paid for it. That's right. You get paid for your work. And for some people, that's legitimate work. And we ain't even getting to the temple prostitutes. That at one time, that was all the rage too. That was the end thing that people were, you know, talking about. The temple prostitutes and the benefits of the temple. You're funny. People are funny. But also, like I was saying, if you got the fucking video and you gonna put it all online or whatever, how the fuck did you get it? You wasn't there. So how did you get it? How did you get the goddamn video? If you wasn't in the room recording the shit, or you wasn't in the room participating with those two, how did you get the motherfucking video? Or you trying to make that person look bad and trying to embarrass them all over the fucking internet? How the fuck did you get the video? Oh, you did some dirty, low down shit that's worse than them two people having sex to get a video of somebody. And you wasn't there to record it? Or maybe you went to that person who that person was having sex with. You went to them, did some dirt digging, found them, and got the video from them. You paid them for the video? Or you tried to bribe them or some shit, some low down shit. See? Dumb. And like I said, hell, I know Kim Kardashian, she wasn't the only one that got famous off that shit. But she did. And became quote unquote legitimized. Got her a husband, some children, became a mom, wife at one point. I don't know if she's a fucking wife now. I don't know. Had a TV show. Go to all the big award shows with the gowns on. Got to wear the Marilyn Monroe dress that she tore all up on the backside. You got pictures of that all over the internet. And just people just love her. Look at all the young girls. They just love her. And their whole Kardashian clan. Christian. Again. Like I've been saying, Christian. I spiritual. Or you throw together some. See, nowadays it's just like with the AI. I was looking at this video on Instagram yesterday. It was like it said hairstyles from the 80s and 90s, black women hairstyles in the 80s and 90s. And I remember some of those pictures, and they were moving. And my daughter, she can't stand, she hates AI, and she looked at it. She was like, "Is that AI?" I was like, "Well, yeah." I remember these pictures. These were stills. And it looks so real, right? So now you can pay somebody to get somebody's image to make a video of them saying to back up your bullshit. But again, okay, but how did you get the video? If it's a real one, if it's for real, how did your motherfucking ass get it? How? I found it on the internet. Why were you looking? You found it in one of the porno sites? Because you're supposed to be so clean. Sex is not dirty. I know. Christianity made you think it was. That's how much that shit permeates the culture. It is the culture. To make people feel dirty because they're having sex. Anybody that got children, I'm talking about the biological children. How did that happen? How did you get them? Biologically so. Or are you a scientist and you went in the lab and put together some weird shit and called it your child? How did you fucking get the children that you have? How? Are you just, I want children. Bling. Look, everybody. Dumb. The things people will do. Like I said, like they all on my channel, listening to all the videos about them. Trying to string shit together. Anyway, I had a friend in college. I had some friends in college. They were some real live hoes. Real live hoes. And I had a friend. This is my first year. I was virgin. I hadn't had sex yet. Everybody was like, "Don't do it, Nikki." But anyway, I had a friend. She was from Chicago. Did I talk about her? I don't know. But, honey, she didn't make no qualms about who and what she was and what she did. She would say, "I'm a hoe." She just said it. Beautiful girl. She was beautiful. I mean, just, like that Phyllis Hyman, that real, she was tall like that beautiful curvy body, just very glamorous. I mean, just glamorous. She was from Chicago. But one thing about it, she was never broke. She was never broke. The old folks used to say, what they say, I feel like as long as you got a pussy, you ought not never be broke. What the old folks used to say. And I can tell you one thing about her. She was never broke. Did her work, graduated. They'll be walking around campus with a coat, she had this beautiful red wool coat, long coat, just tall, and hair was always done just sharp and with the fur collar, just sharp as shit. And that was her choice to live that way, to do that. She got up off that bed with more than a wet ass. She lived right up a few doors down from me. We used to hang out sometimes. I really have to go into them stories, you know. But that's not what this video is for. But she was never broke. She was never without. And she wasn't begging nobody to do shit for her. And she took care of herself. Dumb. That's for the premature, well, not premature, the preemies. That attitude and that spirit. That's for the preemies. Yeah, I see the video. I see. Yeah, that means she, because it ain't gonna be against no man. Now we know that. It'll be something to try and destroy some woman. I see it. She nasty. See the video? See the video I found? Scrounging the internet looking for her? But ain't nothing wrong with that. That ain't sick and demented. Scrounging the internet just looking for somebody, obsessing over somebody. No, that's normal. That's normal. That's how it's on the dark web. How'd you get there? Why are you on there? Ain't that supposed to be a bad place to be? Ain't that supposed to be? So why are you on there? The bad place. Since you're so good and heavenly, and that person is just so evil because they're having sex. That's for the children. Well, I ain't gonna even say that's for the children. That's for the immature. Those who lack understanding. If the video is real. But since nowadays people got so much to prove and trying to hurt somebody and slander somebody and destroy somebody, they're gonna go to the AI and make up one. Well, goddamn, if you're that creative, you need to go to Hollywood, goddamn, and make some real money. And AI shit is all the rage now. I'm sure it's a whole lot of what you call it, careers coming up out of that shit. You can make a whole lot of money instead of scrounging the internet stalking somebody to find some dirt on them. Dumb. But it ain't dirty to obsess and look and seek and try to find all day long. Somebody who ain't thinking about your fucking ass. Somebody who might be actually making a real video with somebody enjoying themselves. Anyway, honey. Anyway. So I was listening to this guy the other day, right? I've got a kind of a small channel. And he was talking about, what everybody talking about nowadays. The gang stalking and shit, right? And but his video was really, his channel was really good. It's a small channel. So more than likely what he's saying is for real. He ain't just making up no shit. But he was talking about the destiny swapping thing, right? So he was saying how he doesn't, where he lives now is not where he's from, okay? And a friend of his, an old friend of his from where he's from, came to his home one day where he is now, and it's kind of like, how'd you find me here or whatever? I don't even know. Yeah, how'd you find me here? The weird shit. The stalking. I don't even think he lives in the same country. He lives in Canada, but I believe he's from the States. But this motherfucker found him. Comes knocking on his fucking door. This man, the man who makes the video, has a channel, he plays the guitar. So And he said that his landlord was there as well, because his landlord used to live in the house. But anyway, so here comes this old friend, and he said, he said he didn't really believe in the whole destiny swapping thing. So here comes his old friend, and um, the man was talking like him, had his hair like his. He used to teach him the guitar. So the guy was like, "Oh, let me show you. I've learned how to, play the guitar." He was playing the guitar like him. Everybody got their own style, their own energy signature for whatever it is they do. Okay. Playing the guitar like him. Um, Everything. To the point where his landlord, who was there, was like, pulled him to the side and was like, "Is he trying to mimic you?" It's weird. He was like, okay, well, I'll get that part. So he was like, "I know it's strange, right?" He used to look like that. His hair didn't used to be like this. He didn't, same cadence in the way he spoke, everything. So he's just observing it. And then he said, at one point he said, because the guy that's what moved him to Canada. He got married, but is divorced at this point. So he said, "How did you find me here?" And he was like, "Oh, your wife, his ex-wife, told me, uh, that you were here and where you lived and all of this kind of thing." Okay. And he said, "Okay." And he said, I can't remember exactly, but he did, kind of ask him like, "What's up with the look? And you talking like me, and you dressing like me, and your hair like mine. What's up with all that shit?" And he said, "Well, I always admired you. I always really liked you. And I want to be like you." And it's some other bullshit. And he said, "I even got with the man's ex-wife and was sleeping with his ex-wife." So at that point, he was pissed. He was like, get out. And the landlord was like, "Man, if you want to hurt him, I ain't gonna even hold you back. It'll be just between us." And he was like, "No, I don't." He says he's not a physically violent person, but he did kick him the fuck out. And I was listening to that. So I've seen some videos on, YouTube where they talk about, the destiny swapping is real and da da da, this, that, and the other. So y'all remember that movie? Well, some of you may not remember it because it was a long time ago, but you might have heard of it, The Single White Female. And the woman got the roommate, and the roommate, before you know it, she was looking exactly like her. Not only that, she was watching her at night while she was asleep. They did show a scene of her masturbating, so I'm not quite sure. I don't remember the movie if she was supposed to be masturbating to her, because sometimes these people have these sexual attractions to you as well. Okay, it's really strange. And it's just like, for people who do that, okay, I'm talking to y'all, okay, who, because, hold on for a second. Let me look up something real quick. Hold on. Damn it. Damn it. All right. Um, Matthew 15:24. Jesus states, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." This statement made to a Canaanite woman reflects his initial focus on the Jewish people, his own people, whom he saw as spiritually lost and in need of a shepherd. This does not exclude the possibility of extending salvation to others later, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, oftentimes when we had these kind of talks, we kind of basically preaching to the choir. Okay. And really speaking negatively to the perpetrators of the crazy. But they need help too. So I'm asking you, or I'm speaking to you. You want to, for those who do this crazy shit, and it is crazy, that quote unquote destiny swap with someone. Why? Why? Because you think they, and definitely here in this culture, because you think they're gonna get some. You done read their cards. You done did some shit and went to their Akashic records or some shit like that. Or maybe you like the way they look, goddamn, or the way they carry themselves. I don't know. But you believe that they're going to get something. You want their life. But you don't really want that person's life. And what I mean by that is you don't really want their being. You think you do, but you don't. What you want is what you think they are going to have as a result of being who they are. That's what you want. Usually here in this culture, it got to do with some goddamn money. Probably, I would think men do it, but probably some damn man or some damn woman. And you think that they're going to have this great, wonderful life because they got a man and money. Or maybe you see that person, they look like they have a certain amount of respect. Okay, you like the way they carried it. And maybe there's something in you that wishes that you were like that person. But you don't really want their life. I'm not talking about things outside of them that may come to them simply because of who they are and what they're able to do, what they're capable to do, or maybe what they've been called to do, or maybe what they've been born and destined to do, and all of that type of shit. You don't want that shit. You that's the shit you want. You don't want their life because because they got to deal with a bunch of yous. People like you ain't the only person that's after that person's quote unquote destiny or trying to be like them and steal their life and all that kind. You're not the only person that they have to deal with. And they've probably been dealing with that shit since they were a child. Probably the motherfucking parent or whatever adult that was around them that saw who and what they were and what they were destined for was siphoning off their ass or giving them hell or doing a black magic witchcraft on them or abusing them and all of that type of shit. You don't want that shit. You don't want to be bombarded with that shit all the fucking time. You don't want to always have to, whomever you meet, whomever you come across, wonder, is this motherfucker gonna do the same thing as all the rest of them? Or have to live your life where you got some huge wall up and defend? You don't want that shit. And not knowing all the work that they have to do just to combat that, just to live an everyday life. You don't want that. You don't even know what that means. You don't know nothing about that shit. You don't want that. You just want what you think is going to be the goods. You don't want to have to put in the work that person put in to be who you see standing before you. But yet you still really don't know what's going on in their mind, their heart. You don't know all the other shit they got to do. You don't know nothing about none of that shit. You just want what you think is coming to that person, what you think they have. Now, a person dressing like another person. So what he said in his video, let me say this. What he said in his video was that, people or that, God's chosen whatever. God has promised something for that person in their life, but you don't even know what the fuck that is. I don't know why in this culture people always assume it got something to do with some goddamn money. They's gonna be rich. They don't deserve it. I already did that video. I want it. You don't know what the promise is. Hell, that person may not even know what the promise is. Hell, that person may not even realize that there is some kind of fucking promise. But your motherfucking ass don't know what it is. I don't give a fuck how many goddamn cards you throw, or how many practitioners you go to. God will confound the eyes and the mind of the wicked, because that's wicked. God can take all them goddamn Akashic records that you looking into and scramble that shit all the way the fuck up. There it is. Okay. Just because a person, so that's what he was saying. So they want to try to assume your identity to get the promises of God. And when I heard that, I said, so you saying that they can put dress like you, talk like this fool man did, talk like you, walk like you, and all the dumb shit. And that's supposed to confuse God. Whatever God's promise is to you, or the universe, or not, the universe is supposed to be confused. Because now they're dressing like you, talking like you, walking like you, got their hair like yours. Now the universe is confused. Well, wait a minute, who is it? God is, but wait a minute. That's now God confused. And don't know who to get his shit to. Now, man might be confused. But see, the path that you think that you're disrupting for someone, and you think you're going to get on their path and take their shit, maybe that's not their path. Some of y'all, what you actually do, and thank God for you, you don't steal that person's destiny. You catapult them to it, their true one. The universe, God, whatever, is not dumb. Human beings are. But God isn't. So just because that fool dressed like him, walk all that shit, and went sleeping with his wife, which his wife is dumb anyway. And he was divorced from the woman. I don't know when the man started sleeping with her, but he had divorced the woman anyway. Now that man, had he not been in the circumstances that he was in, that he was pushed into, he probably wouldn't have the channel that he has and making the videos that he's making to help people on their way. He was pushed into his true calling. Not saying with some silly ass woman. Or whatever, and I think he was on drugs. I'm not quite sure his whole story, or whatever the other shit was. No, that wasn't it. Where he is now is probably it. See how dumb that your thinking is? Just because you take a picture of a person, Take a picture of yourself looking like a picture of another person whose life you want to steal, and then try to slander them and all of that kind of stuff. You're not that person. You're still not that person. You absolutely are not. And you don't know every step and hurdle and so on and so forth that person has on what you believe is their destiny and their path. You have no fucking clue. You just want the goods. And it ultimately never works out for you. Why? Because it wasn't yours anyway. But, small minds, again, they think it's just about money. Or, again, some fucking relationship. Some goddamn coupling. I had a melon today. So one of the Whole Foods that I go to, they had these different kind of melons. I posted one of them. Well, I had a small little melon that I got from the Heinens, and I don't know if it was not good because when I cut open, I can't remember what it's called. When I cut open it, the core part kind of like it was brown. I was like, I don't know if it's supposed to look like this. So I ate a piece of it, not the brown part, but it was like flavorless. It was just like straight, just nothing. So I was like, well, this maybe wasn't ripe, or maybe it's not any good or whatever, so I threw it away. But then I had got this other one, melon from Whole Foods. It was kind of oblong, kind of like egg shaped, but oblong, and it was the rind was green, like with some yellow like lines in it, something sapo, I can't remember. And honey, listen, that shit was so fucking good. Okay, so I went back to Whole Foods. I wanted another. Melons are really good for you. They really help to clean out your system. I mean, all fruit does, but melons are really good. And so I was going to get that one. I said no. I said I was going to try the other ones that I had never had before. So I got the one that I wanted that I never had, canary melon, I think it's called. But I didn't cut into that one. There was another one. It was the only one there, because we're moving out of that season. I really thought melons were like more of a fall fruit, but I don't know. But they, put them out there in the summertime. But anyway, so I got another one, and I think it's called where did I put the oh shit. Oh, I threw it away. Oh, what was it called? Well, I took a picture of it. And the outside it was rough, kind of like a cantaloupe skin, but it's not a cantaloupe. And I asked, when I got to the register, I asked a guy at the register, I said, what is this? He said, I don't know what. He said, I don't know what that is. And it wouldn't ring up. Because, he kept putting the number in, and he kept doing the shit. It wouldn't ring up. He was like, just take it. It was the last one. So I took it. So I just ate that. It tasted kind of like a honeydew. But it wasn't a honeydew melon, because honeydew melon is the skin is smooth. It wasn't a honeydew, but it was but it tasted like a little bit, but it really wasn't that sweet, but it was pretty good. I could tell, like, if it was sweet, it would be really, really good. But I'm saying that, I have to use the restroom. I'll be right back. I'll be back. All right. Okay. I'm back. But so anyway, but I have to the canary melon, I probably try that tomorrow. But yeah. So I'm like, well, just because you wear the same clothes a person wear, or try to talk like them, or say the things that they say, and all that type of shit. Oh my God, that shit wears so fucking thin. It doesn't mean shit. Especially with what he was saying in terms of there's a promise for you, or whatever your life's supposed to be, shit, whatever that shit is, that does not mean I mean, like, God's just dumb, huh? God just gonna be all confused. I mean, just well, they look like them now. They's walking like them, talking like, wait a minute, who was I supposed to give it to? I'm not criticizing what he was saying. I am criticizing that thought process. That's dumb. Now, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, Esau, I believe, yeah, Esau gave Jacob his birthright. He gave it to him because he was hungry. Ain't that the story? He was hungry. That's was his brother. Um, Let me see. Why did well, he sold him his birthright. Okay, because he was famished. He was hungry than a motherfucker. Esau sold his birthright to Jacob because he was famished. So the promise was to Esau, but he sold it because he was hungry. He was hungry, literally. I mean, physically hungry. I can't remember the whole story, but and I'm not gonna go into it. But he was physically hungry because he was famished and prioritizing immediate physical needs over the long-term spiritual and material benefits associated with the birthright. He was seemingly unconcerned about the value of the birthright, which included a double portion of the inheritance and the privilege of leading the family's lineage. Okay. Hunger and impulsiveness. Esau returned from hunting exhausted, there it is, and famished, and desperately wanted some of Jacob's lentil stew. Desire for immediate gratification. He readily agreed to sell his birthright for the stew, demonstrating a lack of foresight and valuing immediate relief over future prospects. I mean, goddamn, you gonna sell your whole birthright over some goddamn stew because you're hungry? Wasn't no leavened bread sitting around no goddamn where. Disregard for the birthright. The birthright included not just material inheritance, but also spiritual significance, as it was part of the lineage that will produce the Messiah. Esau's willingness to trade it for food suggests he didn't grasp its true value. Jacob's opportunity. Jacob, aware of the birthright's significance and Esau's impulsive nature, sees the opportunity to acquire it. Consequences of the deal. Esau's actions were later condemned in the Bible as an example of someone who despised their spiritual inheritance. I don't despise is kind of a strong word, but definitely didn't value it. Wasn't important to him. I mean, it's kind of low. Food is more important to you than the promise here that was made to you. Okay. I'm only saying that to say he gave it. He was hungry. Okay. People who want this from you or want to steal this from you, that's the position they want you to be into, hungry. I'm not talking about for food, physical food, like stew and all of that type of shit. They want to do things to you to make the situations desperate for you, so you just give up on you. Because that's the reality. His birthright, it was him. The Messiah, the promise of the Messiah, this is just, in the manual here. The promise of the Messiah was to come through him, which means it would be him in a sense, through his blood, not his brothers. Okay. So, what was I saying? So he gave it. It wasn't stolen from them. It was, oh, that's what they want. They want you to be hungry. They want to do all kind of stuff, slander you and talk about you real bad and do black magic witchcraft on you and gang stalk you and all type of shit and try to murder you, all type of shit. Even if they could physically, all type of shit, which some people have. And then they end up in fucking jail. Like that singer, what was her name? Celine. That crazy ass woman. Now she's in prison. That was I guess that was her destiny. Or she forgoed her destiny to end up in prison, trying to take someone's life. Okay. Obsessing over her and stalking her and all of that type of crazy shit. Okay. And I saw that movie years ago. You know, I see people talk about that. Um, but that's what they want you to be, hungry, sad, miserable, despondent, hating your life because you keep going through this shit with nuts over and over again ever since you can fucking remember. Trying to paint you in a bad light and doing all the crazy shit to you. Like I said the other day with the good Christian folk who go with their in their basements to do black magic on you and all that time and dream infiltrate you all day long and all of this stuff. Then I came with the video yesterday. You love you. That's who you love. You don't worry about if a person don't care what they're doing to you. You care about you. You love you. You love your birthright, which is you. You prioritize you. You know who you are. You know what you've done. And even if you have done some negative things, who do you answer to? Human beings. Since when? Why? I ain't talking about if you got to go to the job and you got to be there at a certain time. You got to be there at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and you late out. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your life, your spiritual self, your true self. You that's who you don't answer to anyone else. You answer to you and you answer to the divine. It don't matter what nobody say. It don't matter what no kind of tricks they try to do. Trying to make you have you in a corner somewhere in a fetal fucking position crying. Look what they's done did to me. Mm-hmm. And like they say, so you're gonna give up? You can give up on who? What do they say? When someone comes to encourage you and give you a little hard, what they say, little tough love, you're going to give up on who? Not them. And your birthright, because they're trying to make you hungry and famished. But they don't feed you. They don't nurse you. They don't nurture you. They obviously don't love you. They didn't create you. They don't have no power over you, regardless of what they try to do to your name and your reputation and all of that shit. And now to try to create fake AI videos. And for those of you who do that, Why are you deciding that your own birthright is worthless? That you have to go after someone else's? Why? What has happened? What's wrong? Really, what's wrong within that you feel that you have to do that? That you feel that you have to jump into someone else's skin and use all the dark magic you can to assist you on that. Delving into things that you really know not of. Why? Missing out on whatever has been written for you. You're Esau. You're selling your own birthright. You're selling your own self out. Because you, just like what the man here said, not only do you not value it, you despise it. A man who did that to that man, so what happened to him? Who he decided wasn't worth shit, wasn't worth a damn, and he was going to throw away in the garbage can, instead of searching within and living within and being within and growing within and loving all on himself and the who that he was. Whatever you see in that person that you want to do that to, or that you're trying to do that to, you don't see, you don't know what got them there. And whatever you think that their destiny is, with the cards and all the shit and the demons that you done talked to and all of that shit, who probably playing with your motherfucking ass any goddamn way, and all of that, did they tell you all the trauma that person is going to go through to get to that place? Absolutely not. All the difficulties, all the trying times. They didn't know. You don't know shit about that. Because if you did, you wouldn't be. You don't want that. If that's for that person and it was made for that person, because in essence it is that person, the quote unquote destiny, then they have the tools, or are going to be given the tools specifically for them, for that soul being, to reach that, to make it through all the negative experiences that they're going to have to get there. Because hell, shit, ain't gold tried in the fucking fire? Ain't a diamond, a coal pressed to make a diamond? Ain't that how that shit go? What's that song? It's a Bible verse by the Clark sisters. Though we are tried in the fire, we come out as pure gold. That's what makes that. Not, I don't know what the fuck the thought is. Now, I was watching one video where a girl said she did that to someone, but she said she didn't really realize that that's what she was doing. And I believed her. She didn't really realize that is what she was doing to her friend. She saw her friend, admired her, and sometimes the admiration turns to jealousy, so on and so forth. And then she found herself trying to take that girl's life. But guess how it went for her? I wish I never had done that. I know. It's like the girl I was talking about when I had dreams of living in New York, and she went. And how did you like it? I hated it. I know you hated it. I know you did. because it wasn't for you no fucking way. You're just trying to take something from me. Trying to make me feel, trying to make me famished. Nope. You see a pretty picture of somebody, so you decide, I'm going to take a picture like that. I'm going to look like that in my picture too. That's not at that person. All that sass. It's not at that person. You're doing that to yourself because you despise what God has given you. And why should God give you more if you don't even like what he's already given you and blessed you with? Well, I've been through. Everybody been through. So why should the universe give you more of anything? Why should you be blessed with more of anything when you don't like the skin that you walk in? I don't care what nobody did to you. Mom ain't love me. So Daddy didn't want me. That's his issue and his fucking problem. Not yours. Like I said last night, cry a little bit. Boo hoo hoo. Boo fucking hoo hoo. Now get up and live. Can we make these dry bones live again? Get up and fucking live. It's like I read the story of Job here a couple years ago on this channel. He crying and boo-hooing and victimhood. I don't know how long that situation was. I don't think it says. That, by the way, that was the first book written, okay, in the Bible. It was the first book written. But anyway, and God, I've been calling out to you, good Lord God, where you at? Where you at? I've been a good servant. What's really going on? And I mean, I'm sure many of us understand that feeling. And finally, God showed up. And at one point, he told, save yourself. Do your work. And save yourself. You've been equipped. I've given you, if you did it once, you can do it again. I give you everything you fucking need to save yourself. You ain't got to worry. I mean, it is irritating as all get out, but hell, most people who go through this, they've been going through it since like I said, since they was a child. The mama done did it, the daddy done siphoned up off you, take all your little shit, you look up there and gave it over there to Cousin TT and Auntie Val and them, and everybody got your shit. And something in you just know that these motherfuckers done got my shit. You understand what I'm saying? You're still living, you're still walking, you're still breathing, you're still talking. You get up and you do your work and you live your life. And you find you allow that to strengthen you. Like I said, that man very well, maybe, even though that fool did all that shit to him, he's probably experienced it by others. Maybe didn't even really know. Because sometimes that shit going around, you don't even really know that that's what's happening to you. But again, now this man is on YouTube helping people. He's got a great channel. I don't agree with everything he says, though. But because he's very much Christian. But he's helping a lot of people. And the other man, I don't know, what did he think? What did he think it was? What did he think his destiny was? What the man gonna do now when he decides when the man change up his outfits and his hair and all that? What he gonna do then? Poor fella, be lost. He ain't gonna dress like he did before. He don't look like he used to. He got a new hairstyle. That's what I'm supposed to do. Find your fucking self that you threw away and that you despised. And you despise the God in you. It's not always about money. Sometimes it is. But hell, if God promised you that motherfucking money, guess what? I don't give a fuck who stole something from you. You gonna get that shit. And you think God is not watching? Or God's angels or whosoever, whatsoever watching? And you feel like it's delays and shit. It ain't always about somebody's goddamn black magic. And even if it is, let it work in your favor. Maybe God allowing them to do that shit because it need to be delayed till that motherfucker is completely out of the goddamn way. I don't give a fuck. If God promised you something, if something is promised to you, care who you are. In terms of relationship, money, some great, I don't know, position world over, whatever the fuck. You're going to get what it is you've been told that you're going to get. You better believe it. What the book say, God's word don't return to him void. Some people and all the dirty ass work that they do against you, they really don't realize how much they're helping you. Or that was a confirmation for something. They really don't realize they're really doing God's work, helping you. Sometimes some of them, they're making the shit happen faster. Hold on. Oh, wow, this happened twice. Okay. The ass, the donkey, spoke to the prophet Balaam in the Old Testament book of Numbers, chapter 22. God opened the donkey's mouth so that it could rebuke the prophet Balaam for mistreating it and for being spiritually blind to the angel of the Lord standing in its path. Okay. This was the one I was thinking about. In the New Testament, also references this event, 2 Peter 2:16, where the talking donkey is used as an example of rebuke against those who follow the path of false teachers for personal gain. Let me see. Let's look at that one. The Apostle Peter in his second letter, he mentions Balaam and his talking donkey to warn against false prophets and teachers. Okay. The Apostle Jude also refers to Balaam example in this letter. These New Testament passages use the story to illustrate how those who lead others astray are rebuked for their actions, sometimes by unexpected means, just as Balaam was rebuked by his donkey. I thought it was something else that happened, but okay. But basically, I was just reading that because, let me see. Okay, that's it. I thought it was something else that occurred. Okay. But nevertheless, I'm going to say the same thing. Even the ass helped the prophet on this fucking way. Even the ass, the donkey. Ain't nobody going to take shit from you. God has something for you. What God has for me is for me. What God has for me, it is for me. Some, I don't remember words. What God had. When I was at the church I used to go to when I was in seminary, they used to sing that. You know how sometimes during the offering they have a same song they sing, or the same song they play. That's what they would sing. What God has for me is for me. And what God has for you is for you. I can't remember the words. Goddamn, I could look it up, but I can't remember the words. What God has. So don't be worried about nobody trying to take your motherfucking destiny, goddamn. I don't give a fuck about no goddamn cards. I don't give a fuck about no goddamn Akashic, none of that shit. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. I just know here. That's not what I'm looking for. I know it's another scripture. But again, God will confound here. I don't know I don't know how people think they got more power than God, or the universe, and I just what? Okay, confound, cause surprise or confusion in someone, especially by acting against their expectations. Mix up something with something else so that the individual elements become difficult to distinguish. Okay, all right. So they can read their fucking cards. That's why you listen to yourself. Listen to your intuition. Listen to the God within you. So they're talking about, meditating and going into prayer and things of that nature. Okay, and knowing, not having faith, knowing. Stay in yourself. Don't worry about somebody's trying to be in you and walk in your skin and take pictures like you and dress like you and talk like you and use your fucking talking points. So I mean, it's irritating. I'm not saying don't defend yourself or whatever, or don't speak to it when it needs to be spoken to, but so. And don't let that be no fucking distraction either. Because they will use that shit over and over to distract your motherfucking ass. Get you off your path. So you be somewhere famished and hungry. Instead of doing what it is that you are here to do. And be who it is that you're here to be. Your fucking self. Well, they have, again, I'm talking to y'all that do that. While y'all have despised yourself and thrown away your birthright. Stop doing that shit. Stop, because really, it's not about you don't like the person. You're in love with the person. You goddamn, you worship the motherfucking person. So much so that something in your mind has gotten you to the place and space where you feel like you ain't shit and you want to be them. How long that's gonna last? And while you're doing that, guess what? That person's still walking away, being themselves on their path. You ain't gonna take shit from nobody. Hell, even in their death, their name may be world renowned. Maybe that's when it was supposed to be. Maybe that was their destiny for their name to be world renowned for some shit. And maybe that's when it was supposed to be. You ain't gonna confuse God. You ain't gonna confuse the universe. None of that shit. You're just confusing and hurting yourself. All right? All right. That's pretty much all I had to say. You know, and I want to say it again, like I was saying last night. Um, people do this shit to you and they don't care that they've done it. Don't you care that they don't care? And let me just say this real quick. For people that have been used to assist these people, you all that have been used to assist people in their evil shit, to hurt and harm another person that who ain't done shit to you, or to them neither, really. Don't you think that they're not doing the same thing to you? Those who have been recruited by these motherfuckers. You bet. I don't give a fuck how much they smile in your face. They're doing the same thing to you. Some dirty shit. Trust and believe. You want to be in a group, you want to have friends and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, fine. But it's to do some evil shit to someone, they're doing it to you. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you're another one who despises themselves. They're doing it to you as well. And you will pay for that. Ain't enough black magic in the world for you to escape the shit. Let them make their silly ass videos. Their AIs. Trying to entrap and ensnare you. You all have favor. Peace.